Hi and welcome back. And if you've already seen part one of this, where I talk about the Horch House tape version, and you're still here, well done. Thank you for staying with me. And what I'm going to talk now about is basically the Impex version. And I'll talk first of all just about my initial reactions, the packaging, the sound, and then I'll get on to some, what I consider to be some pretty, well, let's say it may be some very major schoolboy error or a clanger that's been dropped, depending on your term of phrase. Anyway, more on that later. So here we go. As you see, Impex records, they come in these very nice polythene sleeves, which are sort of sealed with the Impex logo. And this is an absolutely stunning cover. It's it's the same artwork that was used for the Horch House release, and apparently the Ear Music release, which the Horch House used the same masters from. And I want you to closely look at and digest this photograph here, because this is really, really kind of key. This really has sparked a question in me. Okay, so here we have it. It's beautifully presented. There's a very, very, very nice book here, as you see. Again, we've got Al, John, and Paco. Lots of really interesting input and stories. Now this is very fascinating, and I will get back to this. But what I'd like to draw your attention to here is down at the bottom of session tape 1, because you've probably seen Elusive Discs video promoting this album with Abby Fon and lots of people they've used to they've done a really beautiful job of promoting this. But there's all sort of there's lots of mentions. There's no mention of the Ear Music release. First of all, it kind of makes out it's the only release theirs. And it also sort of almost implies that it's freshly discovered and has never been out before. Well, here we can clearly see tape was baked at Studio Mozart on the 9th of October 2020. Prior to that, this tape was baked at Power Station on the 6th of May 1994. So, it has been out and about before now. But anyway, a beautiful book. Really is absolutely wonderfully presented, and can't argue with that at all. And frankly, the quality of the book, what you're told in there, the quality of the packaging, and the quality of the vinyl is absolutely faultless. I haven't a slightest issue with any of it. And now let's talk about the sound. So I put this on my turntable. Bear in mind, I have already heard the tape, but I'm trying to sort of look at this afresh. And anyway, you put it on, and it starts off with it's Bill Graham, is it? Yeah, Bill Graham's introduction. It's Bill's voice is very solid. It's very central. The crowd is very, very, very wide. It's vivid, almost laser etched in its precision. And then it launches into Splendido Sundance, which is an Al de Meola composition, and it's performed by the three of them. So you've got the three sitting across the stage. And if you're anything like me, and I said the same on my tape review, at this point, I don't actually know who's sitting where. But, you listen to Splendido Sundance here, and it is electric. It's absolutely incredible. It is it's almost high definition, if you can think about you're sitting there in front of a high definition screen of a video of the concert, and it is absolutely crystal clear, laser edged clarity. And there's three absolutely phenomenal guitarists playing flamenco styled music, so to speak, that kind of Latin-esque sort of, acoustic guitars. and there's an awful lot of notes, and they're coming at you from left, centre, and right, and it's incredible. It's mind blowing. Now, if you were listening to this for the first time, I think you would be knocked out. I must admit, I was knocked out. I was, holy mackerel, the space, the light, the air, the clarity, the crystalline precision. It sounds incredible. It is an amazing sort of hi-fi demo disc, if you like, just as Friday Night was, which was launched all those years ago, 40 years ago maybe. It's incredible. And then you get on to One Word, which is the next track, which is a solo by John McLaughlin. Now, he's sitting dead centre, and as such, it's phenomenal. You could the textures, and it's almost like a roller coaster of what he's doing on his guitar, of the playing, the sort of the way he's sort of ducking and diving and turning, and from sort of high frequencies to low frequencies. It's just incredible. It really is impressive. Then you get on to Trilogy Suite, which is Al Di Meola's solo slot. And here we have Al Di Meola in the right-hand channel, okay? And it sounds incredible. And I'm at this point, I'm sort of, hang on a minute, it's on the wrong side. On the tape, and of course, unless you've heard the tape, you won't know this. On the tape, Al was on the left, and Paco was on the right, with John in the middle. And then we play on to Monasterio de Sal, which is Paco's solo slot. And there we are, Paco's on the left. And I'm thinking, okay, the channels so I'm not saying Impex has switched to sound channels. Maybe it's Impex, maybe it's Ear Music. But why would they do that? But anyway, I thought, is it just on these tracks? So I went back to Splendido Sundance and listened very carefully. And yeah, Splendido Sundance is also, it's the other way round. So basically, what we have here is the positions on stage of them reversed. John McLaughlin's still in the middle. On the Impex, on the vinyl issue here, we've got, if you're listening to, I appreciate this is slightly confusing because I'm talking to cameras, so I'm talking about the right channel here and the left channel there, and of course you're looking at me and I'm pointing in the opposite direction, but I'm sure you know what I mean. But anyway, so on this we have got from left to right as they sit on the stage, we've got Paco De Lucía, John McLaughlin, Al Di Meola. Now, on the Horch House, it's the other way round. You've got Al Di Meola on the left, John McLaughlin in the middle, Paco De Lucía on the right. One of them's clearly right, one of them's clearly wrong. Which one could it be? Now, I don't know for certain, but I think that this says a lot. Okay? Because, I mean, if this isn't a photograph from that night, what is? I mean, it's the photo that they used to publish it. It's also the same photo that Horch House used. I can only assume that this is correct. It's photographic evidence. Okay? So, what's gone on here? I don't know. And also there's I kind of wouldn't necessarily expect otherwise in the sort of the marketing videos that Elusive Disc and Impex have made. There's no real reference. They talk about an earlier master or an earlier mix, which of course Al Di Meola did with his engineer, presumably, that they sent off to Ear Music. And that was all analog, okay? But they said, apparently Abbey didn't think it sounded quite lively enough or give enough of the space, and that's fair enough. That's her view, that's her opinion, and she got a lot of people to go along with that. That's absolutely fine. So they went back to the 16 track, which means they remixed it, okay? No question, because this is a stereo, not 16 track. So they went back to the 16 track as Skywalker sound. It was digitized and corrected for some speed error. I would assume that's like the plangent process, I believe they call it. There may be other things they can do, but it's been digitized, digitally corrected, and then put back together again. Amusingly, in the video, there's one of the engineers saying they went to painstaking lengths to make sure everything in the soundstage was in the right place. Well, apart from the performers, of course. Unless, well, could this photo be reversed, mirror imaged? Well, no, not unless they've all become left-handed because they're playing right-handed guitars. Could this be of another night? Possibly, but that would be a bit odd, wouldn't it? So I think it's fairly safe to say that basically the trio, and this is just a trio on stage, they've been repositioned into different positions in the soundstage, so it's kind of like an artificial kind of construct. Now, you know, there's two options, I think, here. One is they've done this as a creative thing, maybe by positioning these people around, and they've got the whole thing. They've got all the stems digitally. They can clean up bleed and the like, and make it sound clearer, so to speak. And it does sound clearer. It sounds laser etched, but like I said, it's sort of, I found it actually slightly tiring, a bit like being machine gunned with all those notes, whereas going back to the tape, and this is an interesting thing to say, going back to the tape, instead of having that sort of, you know, high definition mini theatre laid out in front of you, say, for argument's sake, 8 foot from wall to wall between your speakers, you've got 8 foot from Aldi Meola to Paco De Lucía, John in the middle, all there, full size, full scale, with their guitars. You know, it depends how far away you sit from your speakers, but in my case, about 6 to 8 feet, playing at you from there. The audience is there in the Horch House recording, but it feels like you are in the audience. It feels like the three guitarists are playing to you, rather than playing on a laser-etched, mini, very high-definition kind of model, if you like, of the theatre. And I think that's really it. So I don't know what much more to say. You know, don't get me wrong. This sounds incredible, and without, you know, I'm sure there's loads of people who've got out there who have this, who don't have the ability to play tape, and they think this sounds incredible, and they're right. It does sound incredible. It absolutely sounds incredible. It sounds, you know, I'd hesitate to say it sounds incredible like some of the Mo-Fi one steps sound incredible that have been digitally corrected in their, you know, in that stage of their production. It is super clean. It's super kind of etched in space, you know, as if it was like a laser hologram of like, well, you know, it was done as Skywalker sound, but it has me in memory of the bit in the first Star Wars film where you've got, you know, the mini Princess Leia standing on the table, kind of talking to them, saying, "Oh, come and help us, come and help us," you know. It's a bit like that. It's like you've got, you know, this amazing soundstage laid out in front of you. It's super high def, but it is like you're looking at a model. Whereas with the tape, it's like they're in the room with you, or you're in the room, and you know, you're sitting in the Warfield Theatre in the front row, and they're right in front of you, and you get that full dynamic impact and involvement. And actually, the way, you know, from left to right to centre, the way the notes play as they're playing together, actually, for me, fundamentally fits together. It works together well. It is almost like, well, I mean, assuming the photographic evidence is correct, and that is how they are, on the tape, which hasn't been digitised, you just feel that you're getting what happened. And the play from left to right, the sparring, like a tennis match between them. It's like diddle-diddle-ding, diddle-diddle-ding, diddle-diddle-ding. It's sort of they're playing against each other, or with each other, whereas in this, of course, it's not naturally correct. It's not where they were, and it's sort of just for me, this was mind-blowingly exciting, but kind of tiring. It's like, wow, it's like facing machine gun fire. With this, it was just, you just got swept away on a wave of absolute energy and excitement. So for me, I think that's it. Gives you a huge amount of energy, takes a huge amount of energy. Okay, so bit of a bombshell there, because I really wasn't expecting that. Conclusion is they both sound right, but I'd love to know if anyone else has got any conclusive information about that night, and why they've been switched around. I guess the only people who can say why they've been switched around is Impex and the engineers who work with them. But there's two answers to that. One is it was done for artistic, creative reasons. I don't know why they would do that. And the other one is a schoolboy error, which is I find mildly amusing, actually. Anyway, I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you very, very, very much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Okay, bye now. Bye.